What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my NASCAR power rankings entering into week 22 of the season. We only have about a month left before the playoffs start. So let's get into it here. 34 through 36, no changes after last week's results. Cody Ware, disappointing finish yet again. Gregson gets in the late crash where he had a good run going through pretty much the last 50 laps of the race, but then unfortunately just crashed and unfortunately finished in 32nd. Riley Herbst, the only thing he's got going for him right now is momentum, I guess, heading into this weekend's race in Indy. He won it last year in the Xfinity Series, so maybe he can turn that into a top 20, top 10 kind of finish and get a big surprise out of him here at Indy. 31 through 33, and unfortunately, we keep seeing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. keep falling. 23rd finish, it wasn't bad, but to his standards, this guy 2 months ago was in the playoff picture, and now he's nowhere near it. He needs a win to get in along with all these other guys. Todd Gilliland, Cole Custer, just mediocre days for them as well. 28 through 30, and Ty Dillon is the story these last few weeks here of the in-season challenge. He faces Ty Gibbs this week for the $1 million, and for his team, that $1 million would do a lot moving forward. So, if you're rooting for the underdog, obviously pick him. He's the 32 seed out of 32 in the bracket challenge, if you haven't been aware. So Ty Dillon has a lot on the line this week. Carson Hocevar, anything but top 30 or anything 30 or less will be great for him because you can see there are three finishes in a row outside the top 30. Hasn't been trending well, but maybe Indy can provide a spark and possibly get him back into this thing. He does run well at bigger tracks. In second place in Nashville this year. So maybe he can turn a page here and possibly get back to the front of the pack. Justin Haley talking about top 20, racing very well here these last few weeks and quietly improving. I think he could be a name to watch for at the end of the year, putting together some solid races. 25 through 27, disappointment out of Suarez and Nemechek. Suarez, obviously, we know his story, but 26th, mediocre. Hunter Nemechek, one spot away from going for $1 million. Instead, it's Dillon, like I already said, and his brother Austin Dillon had a good finish running 15th. And it's good to see him kind of in that top 20 because he had a bad stretch of races where he was nowhere even near that. 22 through 24, Allmendinger keeps falling. You can see there he has some good stats, but he's still looking for that first win in 2 years. Eric Jones, the momentum is gone from his 3 or 4 races he had in a row where he was on fire, and then now he's 27th. I think last week he had a bad finish as well. Zane Smith, Rex and OT. He was running about top 15, top 10 at the time, and then he got in that crash and got that 22nd place finish. So these guys are right around the bubble here, and they need a lot to happen if they want to get in. And that goes for these guys as well, besides Cindric and Barry. Now, it's mostly Brad here. Brad's racing good, but he needs a win to get in the playoffs at this point in the season. Barry and Cindric are already locked in, but these two guys are pretty much just milking it here into the playoffs. If you looked at overall, these guys, I don't think they would be in the playoffs if you looked at everything, but a win goes a long way here in NASCAR, and these two guys are in. And hopefully they can start to build some momentum here as we move forward. 16 through 18, Priest, McDowell, right on the cusp of getting in the playoffs. They're very close. And then you have that guy in the middle, SVG, 3 wins, all at road courses. And he's still learning here at any course that's not a road course, but his dominance at the road course definitely guarantees him a playoff spot. And the hot take has been, do these guys get in a playoff? Do they deserve it if it's only road courses? Well, you can make the counter argument of, well, what if they only win at short tracks? Should they get in the playoff? So SVG has earned my respect. 1 win is hard to do, obviously, in NASCAR, but 3 and all at road courses, I mean, he deserves to be in there. Whether he's going to perform well or not, he deserves to be there. And that goes for, I think, McDowell. He's ran well at road courses, but unfortunately, SVG's just been better this year. 13 through 15, and here comes Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch at 15, finishing 11th. He's only 39 points out of 16th from Bubba. And I just think that Busch, if he can keep putting these top 15 finishes, Bubba's been inconsistent and around the bubble his whole career since this playoff thing started. I don't know. I don't know who you would trust here in this situation because Kyle Busch going into Indy, he runs well at this track. And if there's any track I think he could win at, it would be this one, possibly steal a spot from someone. Bubba, like I said, he's always on the bubble and he needs a win more than likely to be, obviously to be safe, but to really ease the tension because it seems like every week he's right around that bubble. And I'm sure he's feeling that tension as we get closer and closer. Then you have Ross Chastain. Ever since his win has kind of disappeared, I would say. He's in the garage late after that late race. Disappointing week yet again, and he's slowly just kind of fading back. Another guy that might be just coasting into the playoffs and getting eliminated early. 10 through 12, and you have two guys that are really putting together a case that I think can make the playoffs, whether they win or not. Alex Bowman, especially just a few weeks ago, he was outside. Now he is just on fire, putting together top 10 finishes yet again. And he struggled early, but this summer, but these last few weeks, even months, he's starting to get put it together. That's why he's up here at 10 in my power rankings and 14th in the point standings. And in between Bowman and Gibbs, you have Logano with a win, 14th place finish. It wasn't his best, but it wasn't his worst, and I think he'll take it at this point in the season. Gibbs finishing fifth, and you can see it there. Average finish of eighth over the past 7 races, and he is just on fire right now, heading in to Indy. And he's only 52 points back from the playoffs. So if he keeps putting together these top 10 finishes, when it's all said and done, he might be making the playoffs whether he wins or not. But I wouldn't be shocked if Bowman or Gibbs gets one of these extra wins here or a win that someone doesn't have and takes away a playoff spot. So Gibbs especially obviously needs that win where Bowman he can adjust to that if it's not him winning to and if it is a new winner. But obviously these two guys really want to win bad so they can lock themselves in the playoffs. 7 through 9, and Busher is another guy that needs to lock himself into the playoffs with a win, but he is just there, but he just can't finish. Looks like these, races. You can say, yeah, he's placing top 10 these last few races, fifth top 10 in the past 7 races. Yeah, that's great and all, but come playoff time, 4 races left. Is that going to be enough to get you in? Like I said, there could be a new race winner and bump someone out. And right now, Busher and Bubba are those two guys that could be bumped out. Blaney at 8, Larson at 7 after a good week for Larson. Good bounce back race to hopefully get him back in gear in time for the playoffs. Same for Blaney. He could be a favorite this week in Indy. They're a very strong team. Team Penske is at Indy, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see another top 10 finish out of him. 4 through 6, I don't think it's a big surprise here for these guys that you see in this slide. Bell almost won it and then had a few spins that kind of took him out of contention. Briscoe, I think he could have won that race, but it was a teammate and Denny. He said he didn't want to do something stupid and wreck them both, which I understand. So 1-2 for the teammates obviously is great for them. And Briscoe looks like he's going to be a threat come playoff time. Then you got Tyler Reddick, who, it's a good race, finishing 12th. He's the guy that is the number one bubble guy, I guess you could say, because he hasn't won a race, but he's putting together these races. He's pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot at this point. No matter what happens these next 4 weeks, he wins, doesn't win, he's probably in. But it would be nice to see him finally get his first win this year. And 1 through 3, I don't think it's a big surprise here. I know Byron had a late crash, and that 31 doesn't look too good here on the card, but he was running top 10 at the time, and unfortunately got caught up in a little tango and ended his day early. But other than that, he had a great race going, and probably another top 10 finish, and unfortunately just didn't go his way. Denny, yet again, could make the argument that he's at 1 over Chase Elliott, but the way Elliott's been running consistently in those top 10 finishes, it's hard to look at. But Hamlin gets another win, dominating in OT on old tires, being able to block off the field on new tires. And, everybody loves Danny, right? Everybody loves this guy because he is just electric. He will bring it. He'll bring the juice. That's for sure. Don't have to worry about that. But then, like I said, at 1, you got Chase Elliott. I think he's been the most consistent driver here these last few weeks, months, you could say. Another top 10 finish, like I said, 12th top 10 of the year, finishing 6th. And he could be another threat. I think now that he's got his first win under his belt, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets another one here. In the playoffs, before the playoffs, I wouldn't be too shocked if Elliott at least wins one more. And then Denny, I'll go back to Denny, 2 wins away from 60. If he can do that, he joins elite company. And obviously, that's on his mind here as the season winds down. That's going to be it for my power rankings in week 22. Check back next week to see where your favorite team ranks. Till the next time, Bench Buddies are out.